Hi friends, what is the best place to land on Kings Canyon in Apex Legends Season 14? Kings Canyon has had a massive update in Season 14 and it's very different since the last time you saw it. So I've created an updated map showing what tier of loot each point of interest is rated on Kings Canyon in Apex Legends this season. I'll talk you through it in this video and I'll pick out a few of my favourite drop spots just to give you an idea of where you can drop to help you win more games in Apex Legends Season 14. Don't forget, Kings Canyon is the first split for ranked and Stormpoint will be the second split of ranked. You can see on this map all of the hot locations to pick up the best loot on Kings Canyon, with the purple zones symbolising high tier loot zones, blue symbolising mid tier loot zones and grey obviously being low tier loot zones. This gives you a really good idea of where you can find the best loot, and obviously you'll notice they've made some changes this season, not just to adding areas and changing the name of some areas, but also changing some of the tiers. For example, caustic treatment used to be high tier loot and now it's a mid tier loot zone, but obviously you've got the 3 gold circles in there where you can pick up the gold loot within inside caustic treatment. As you can see, there are some nice groupings of high tier loot zones on Kings Canyon. You'll notice most of the high tier loot zones are near the edge of the map. And as you move to the center, you get a lot more mid-tier loot zones. The good news is they have worked on the loot distribution for this season, so the loot does feel a little bit more balanced. Although, I do still have loads of buildings where I go into, and there are just no weapons in it, which off drop is just really annoying, and to be honest, it makes no sense to me how that still happens in a game like this. Anyway, where you drop depends on if it's ranked or pubs. I'd say for pubs, you're more likely to want to get early fights and see some good action, so you want to choose a slightly more hot place to drop. Relic is actually quite a good place to go. I don't know if it's just because it's new and it might quieten down as we get through the season, but at the moment it's quite a hot place to drop, especially if it's near the start of the dropship or along the path of the dropship. Gauntlet also seems to be a good place to consistently see action. I pretty much always find 1 to 2 teams landing here at a minimum, unless it's really far from the dropship's path. Sing Labs and Containment are a few other good shouts if you want some good action early on in the game. But apart from that, if you're landing near a big point of interest at the start of the dropship, you should be on track for some good early action. For ranked, you want to be a little bit more strategic. I always say in these kind of videos, land somewhere you are comfortable with, the place you know the terrain the best so you can navigate the loot and get the best strategic positions if other squads land there. If you land in points of interest you're not familiar with and other squads land there, you're not going to be able to know instantly where the best positions are to take to fight other squads, nor the best places to go to pick up loot, and that's why this tip is important. Also, try to pick a high tier loot zone to land in, especially in ranked, because having better loot than enemies, particularly early on in the game, can make a big difference between winning and losing RP. My personal favourites are Runoff as a good one, Gauntlet if I'm feeling a little bit more daring and want some early fights. I mainly do this if I'm in a lower rank, particularly early on in the season, and Basin is another one. If you didn't know, Basin used to be Relay, or Broken Relay as it changed to, but it's now called Basin, and it's a great option because it's a high tier loot zone and they added some more buildings and more structures there in Season 14, which means there are loads more places to get high tier loot now if you land in Basin. So that's an overview on some of the best places to drop on Kings Canyon. Feel free to use this map for reference next time you drop into Kings Canyon. I hope you found this useful. I've got loads more Season 14 content coming for you, so don't forget to like and subscribe. For now though, thanks for watching and I'll catch you later.